Good morning, everyone. Today, the event will be presented to you by CS Chapter, which stands for Computer Society. To know more about them and what they do, we present Dalin Hazem to inform you of the basics of their work.
Hi everyone, welcome to the third day of the Mysterious Future event. My name is Dalin Hazem and I'm the chairperson of the CS chapter at IEEE BAU student branch. So now let's get started with what is IEEE. IEEE is the Institute of Electrical and Electronics Engineers, and it is the world's largest technical professional organization dedicated to advancing technology for the benefit of humanity. IEEE and its members inspire a global community to innovate for a better tomorrow through its more than 419,000 members in over 160 countries, and its highly cited publications, conferences, technology standards, and professional and educational activities. IEEE is the trusted voice for engineering, computing, and technology information around the globe. As IEEE, the world's largest technology professional organization, IEEE offers a number of ways to get involved with technical and local communities. These communities are active participations in research and authorship, conferences, and important conservations about today's most relevant technology, and these are locally and globally. You can join which society or societies best match your technical interests, and from these societies, we are the Computer Society. Now, what is the CS chapter? The IEEE Computer Society is the premier source for information, inspiration, and collaboration in computer science and engineering. Connecting members worldwide, the Computer Society empowers the people who advance technology by delivering tools for individuals and all stages of their professional careers. Our trusted resources include international conferences, peer-reviewed publications, a robust digital library, globally recognized standards, and continuous learning opportunities. The CS membership has many benefits. CS offers trusted content from 33 magazines and transactions, more than 9,000 conference publications, standards development, online learning with more than 45 professional development hours available, and to learn, collaborate, and network at 225 international conferences, more than 350 worldwide chapters, and 40 technical communities. Beginner and advanced software developer certifications, deep discounts on all conferences and events, leadership opportunities, including the opportunity to lead, publish, and speak. And now I want to talk about the fields of interest in the CS. All major areas of computing and information technology, computer hardware, software security, AI, multimedia, IT, networking, and mobile computing, and much more. Also, there is a benefit of being an IEEE member, and having the opportunity to participate at IEEE Extreme competition. IEEE Extreme competition is a global virtual challenge advised and proctored, advised and proctored by an IEEE member and often supported by an IEEE student branch, complete in a 24-hour time span against each other to solve a set of programming problems. I want to note that this competition will be held on 24th of October this year. As you know, this conference is organized by our branch, which awarded as the best student branch for both 2017 and 2018. Today is the CS day in our conference. CS at BAU has been opened at 2017 and it started with 7 members. And a year after another, our family is becoming bigger and bigger. Today, our society is consists of more than 25 active members. All of them are doing their best to raise up the name of the CS. Now let me tell you about our work. At our society, we have 3 roadmaps: the mobile application roadmap, network roadmap, and web development roadmap. At the mobile application roadmap, there are 12 members there are 8 members that are learning how to build Android mobile application. They started from Java or Kotlin as their choice, and then they're doing tasks on Android Studio. In network roadmap, there are 12 members and they are learning CCNA course. And at the web development roadmap, members learning how to build a website, starting from the front end. They beginning learning from HTML to CSS and Bootstrap, and now they complete the front end and getting to start with the back end learning path. I want to mark that these roadmaps are supervised by CS members who have learned these fields and sharing their knowledge and experience. Now you may ask yourself why to be a part in one of these roadmaps and why to choose this way of learning. Well, the answer is that this process of learning in our roadmap is done in learning groups, which makes the whole process more interactive. Also, the path is divided into parts, which is much easier for the members to achieve. And at the end of each part, there is a task that have to be done. And one of the most important things is that each member gets a feedback on the achieved task. And the tasks are discussed in the groups. After members finish these roadmaps, they will work on projects to apply what they learn. We also work on the members' skills such as designing. We give our members the basics of Photoshop, and the most interested members in our chapter join the designers team, who work on our monthly technical magazine that presents scientific topics along with other main topics. These topics are from IEEE Spectrum magazine. In addition, each week we gather online at a predefined time to discuss topics related to our field, such as DevOps engineer, blockchain technology, quantum computing, and quality assurance, also much more. We all read about the topic and share what we come up with. After discussion, we have a conclusion and all members improve knowledge as a result. Our society doesn't shorten on that. We've got a social media team whose job is to prepare the content of our CS page and to cover our activities and the news. Our page focuses on spreading the knowledge for related fields and new technologies. And talking about our page, I invite you to follow us up by typing IEEE BAU Computer Society chapter in your search bar on Facebook, and this is our Facebook page. Being in our community improves the members' personal skills, such as teamwork skills, good communication, time management, and formal correspondence. During the past years, our society has done many different activities. We had scientific trips to SESAME, the first international research center in the Middle East, Fab Lab Irbid, which is a digital fabrication lab, and to Iman. It is a supercomputer made by Jordanian engineers, and it was built from 2,700 PlayStation 3 devices. We also done CS cinema event, and at this event we show a movie. Also, we done many workshops on different topics such as machine learning, Python, ethical hacking, and .NET workshop, UI UX design, and much more. We also participate in organizing many events of the branch, like IEEE Day, which is celebrating the first time in history when engineers worldwide and IEEE members gathered to share their technical ideas. It was in 1884. Worldwide celebrations demonstrate the ways thousands of IEEE members in local communities join together to collaborate on ideas that leverage technology for a better tomorrow. Also, we joined at IEEE Spectrum Lab, which highlighted the recent developments in modern technology around the world and all projects university in the fields of engineering. We also, each semester, we set up booths to introduce our society to students and attract them to be a member. And during this pandemic, we continue our activities online, and we host 2 online broadcasts live discussing new technologies topics like cybersecurity and IoT. And we are here today with you in our Mysterious Future event, interested in displaying our role as computer and network engineers in the future of smart cities. I want to remind you with the topics today, and I hope you a good time and an unforgettable memory. And I hope to enjoy your day. Thank you.
Thank you, Daleen. 50 years have passed since the achievement of what used to be thought impossible, the moon landing. So, how will artificial intelligence change our life and ideas over the next 50 years? We all noticed the enormous development in software and computing capabilities in the last decade, where there is no aspect of life that smart computing systems have not entered, and in each aspect they've entered, it's got a very rapid development. We are still in the beginning of the road, from self-driving cars to voice assistants in our homes. There are only vivid examples for the entry of artificial intelligence into our lives. So, what the meaning of artificial intelligence and what do we mean by deep learning? And what's the relationship between deep learning and self-driving cars? To answer these and other questions, I will leave you with the man with more than 20 years of experience in the area of machine learning and software development. Also, he received his PhD in deep reinforcement learning. Also, he has a number of research and patents on natural language processing, speech processing, and computer vision. Currently, he is a senior expert of AI Value Group. I leave you with Dr. Ibrahim Subah.
So, Hello, everyone. I hope you can hear me well, and you can see my screen.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Hello, everyone. Thank you all for being here today. My name is Ibrahim Sobh. I am Senior Expert of Artificial Intelligence, and I am talking to you from Cairo, Egypt. Today, I'm super excited and honored to share with you this quick tour about deep learning for self-driving cars. I'm graduated from Cairo University, Faculty of Engineering, Computer.
You mean like those posts they have, like people can just charge the things?
What are you, to charge your phone?
Yeah, but it take a while to charge your phone. You gotta stand there for 10 minutes waiting for your phone to charge.
I think this thing right here can take your whole information if it wants to.
If it wasn't for those, people would be going crazy for their phones, like, oh, I can't charge or anything. But when having those posts around, everyone's hogging it up, and then sometimes people are desperate need to charge their phones, but you know, people are just hogging it.
All you gotta do is just plug it in. All your information is all up in here.
But now New York is a fast-paced moving place anyway, so and technology changes every day.
New York metro region has 20 million people and about 8.5 million in the 5 boroughs. Can you imagine what kind of problems that can create for city officials? There's the traffic and the congestion and all the transit around that. So we're here to see how much technology can make a difference in those areas and truly make New York a smart city.
I love science fiction, and William Gibson said something that really stuck with me, and that is that the future is already here. It's just not evenly distributed.
I've come to City Hall to talk to the Chief Technology Officer, Minerva Tentoko. She's been appointed by Mayor de Blasio to oversee tech innovation, tech startups, but also to look into things like smart plus equitable city. That means things like affordable broadband for everybody.
Up until now, a lot of smart city technology and the dialogue around cool tech has been led by large companies that are providing technology to cities, on a grand scale. While that's really, really good, we also want to make sure that, first of all, smaller companies have an opportunity to participate, startups, but also that we use the technology to improve the lives of everyday New Yorkers.
Your office is sort of in charge of pilots, and they range from kind of small to big. Maybe you could tick off your 1 or 2 favorite pilot projects that you oversee.
Some of my favorite pilots, for example, the SUFA pilot. SUFA is a smart park bench. It's up in Highbridge Park. It's solar powered, a place to sit. You can charge your phone on it, but also it counts how many phones go by. So this is going to give us data about how many people walk by that new park in Highbridge Park, how many people cross over, and it's going to help us with that kind of data design even better public parks, public urban spaces. Link NYC is turning all of the old, outdated eyesore payphones and turning them into free Wi-Fi hotspots. They have not only free Wi-Fi up to 150 feet, but at the fastest speeds between 100 megabits, and some will have gigabit speed. And they have a charger and a tablet on which you can make free phone calls, get information, 311. Tourists can use it instead of using up their international data plan. They can check their hotel reservations, get directions, and it's all 100% free because it's paid for by the digital advertising on the side. The other thing is we built in the ability to upgrade it because many contracts, especially government contracts, are 10, 15 years long. And one thing for sure, 10 years from now, that won't be the latest technology. And so what we built into the agreement was that it would be upgraded on a regular basis based on the industry standard technology available at that time. When I took this job, it was really to make New York City the most tech-friendly and innovative city in the world. We are a fantastic living lab for new urban tech. Our doors open to help startups and large companies alike try out their technology. We have the density, we have the diversity, we have 6,000 miles of roads. I mean, it's just a fantastic place to really try out your tech and work with us on making it a better place for all New Yorkers.
I'm going to chat with Doug Newcomb, president of C3 Group. They're experts on connected car technology and connected vehicles. I think his ideas about how cities will regulate the various technologies coming with moving objects like buses and cars and other vehicles could be really valuable insights.
Connected mobility is really a catch-all term. It's evolved from connected car. It was just looking at the car. Now we're starting to see connected mobility. I'll give you a good example. Uber, Lyft. We're starting to see where you can get around using a device, so through connectivity. And now we're starting to see a lot of people move beyond just vehicles to public transportation. There are apps like Ride Scout, for example. I can take a bike share to here. I can take public transportation. So really using technology to help people get around. That's I guess the best definition for connected mobility.
When you look at the massive congestion in New York, and it actually kind of flows pretty well, they just can't keep adding more streets. Exactly. They can't double-decker the street.
Exactly.
So they need to have these sort of technology connection approaches for subways and buses, I guess.
Right. And I think New York is a really good test bed. In fact, I know that Mayor de Blasio, in some ways, is doing, like, for example, their Vision Zero initiative, where they want to eliminate traffic deaths here in the city. And in some ways using technology to do that.
One of the ideas I've heard from New York City is that they have this transit signal priority test pilot, where the buses with a GPS signal communicate with a server, and then that allows the traffic control cops, I guess, to change the signal. Maybe the red light will be shorter if a bus is waiting at a red light. And they claim that so far, in this one example, they've reduced commute times by 20%. And this is not involving each individual passenger, but I'm sure those people appreciate that.
Oh yeah. Well, here's the thing. I mean, this is what's really interesting about this time and this space. A lot of the solutions, or pieces, I should say, pieces of the puzzle are in place, or are available, I should say. And it's a matter of putting them together. Like you said, it's like, the MTA can, use technology to time the traffic lights. I mean, that's not that difficult to do in a sense. And he said, like, if you have a communication between the buses and the traffic lights, then, you can make it more efficient. Take that now a step further and do that with vehicles.
What I figured out about New York as a smart city is that the city government has created a multi-pronged approach that includes a lot of factors. How to measure traffic, how to increase bus speeds, how to help people with crime. There's even one more. There's an interest in making broadband more widely available to everybody in a few years, and that's what they put under the heading of smart plus equitable city. So when you think about all the smaller things that the city's doing, and they all add up to a big picture for what I'd call a smart city, it puts New York right up there with the biggest in the world.
Now, a little far from the smart cities, we want to hear from you, the audience. We will be pleased to have a discussion between you guys about what you've achieved during the quarantine. If anyone would like to tell us about what they've learned and how, please raise your hand so can the team unmute your mic.
Hello, everyone. I am Salahuddin Fatih, and I am studying computer system and network engineering in the 4th year. During the home quarantine period, even it was a stressful time, psychological, but it was a unique and one of a kind opportunity. So it had to be transformed into a period that contained a lot of achievements. And one of the most and more than most important achievements was commitment and work. In previous periods, everyone wanted to do something, wanted to achieve something, but the university attendance, the daily business was an obstacles standing in front of that. So the home quarantine came to put aside all of these obstacles and give us an opportunity to work a lot of courses and very interested lectures and a lot of serious work. Every one of us in the home quarantine achieved something that reflected on his general knowledge. I achieved distinguished results that improved my personal level.
Thank you, Salah. Is there anyone else?
لا هي منظمة
Okay, thank you. Goodbye.
Hi all, I am Dana. I am studying network engineering. At this period of time, all of us had some change in our life because of coronavirus. But in IEEE, we got a wonderful experience. From February, in this month that Corona started in our country, to this moment. I learned a lot of things in CS and Site Society. I learned design in Photoshop and Illustrator. I take a basic in Python and I took a lot of courses and workshops. And now I am a membership development in Site. And also I started learning network courses CCNA. I developed in this 7 months and learn a lot of things and take a lot of experience and it's a pleasure for me to be a member in IEEE and want to learn more and more. Thank you for your listening.
Thank you, Dana. Anyone else?
Hello everyone, my name is Haya and I study computer engineering. At the beginning of quarantine, I thought that it's time to relax and to take a break from everything. But after a while, I kind of felt that I'm wasting my time. And on the other hand, I still have lots of work to do, so I decided to list my goals and start seriously changing my life and my routine. I started by taking English courses to improve my language and to learn more vocabs. And I also started to practice my language with native speakers, something that I could never have doing. I also enrolled in online courses in my major, such as CCNA course, and I started making research in network security and other subjects in my major. It kind of helped me to love my major and expand my knowledge in it. At the end of this period, I learned that the most important step to something correctly is to list my goals at first and making a game plan, and that helped me a lot to achieve my goals in the shortest time possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Haya.
Hello everyone, this is Lana Agha. I'm a communication engineering student. I would first thank everyone who organized this event. Um, First of all, I see computer science is one of the main part of smart cities. Um, and about your question, what did I reach in COVID-19 um, period? Actually, it was really a very hard time for me and everyone. But the point is, where did you, or where are you right now after this all? Um, we see that everyone is disappointed actually, but in one place or another, we have to reach. So I'm as a communication engineering student, I have to develop my skills. I have to develop myself. So online courses was my goal to reach and to have to develop myself and achieve uh, uh, my, my main part of
Can you raise your voice, please?
what I can really achieve
Lana,
this part. So my
can you
voice is
please?
not clear.
Yes, can
There's
you
no
raise your
voice.
voice, please?
Can you please let me know if you are
Raise your
listening or not?
voice. It's clear but low.
Is my voice clear?
Now, yes, go ahead.
Okay, now I'm fine.
Yes, great, go ahead.
Should I repeat or what? Should I repeat?
No, no, complete. Oh, continue.
Okay, so I was talking about my achievements in COVID-19 period. It was a very hard period to reach or to end. Um, but as an communication engineering student, um I have to reach or have an online courses which already was available in a multiple websites. So this is it. It was a very hard period, but we should all reach and complete. So yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Lana. Is there anyone else want to speak about his current quarantine? Okay, thank you very much. Now we are going to go off to the break. Thank you for the good listening. Okay, Muhammad Zidan, you can go ahead.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to talk about what happened in the pandemic and what I've done. Not all of it was achievement, but at least we've done something in the pandemic. So it started when at like on March. I was to Spain. Then I got home, and I'm thankful for that. So when I got back home, like all of the country locked down. So we started to think how the patients, because my father has like heart disease. So the problem was how I'm gonna talk with the doctor and like get like to communicate with each other. So the point was to get a solution for that problem. So we started to plan for a telemedicine platform. And after that, like in the middle of March, we started the platform. It was called Doctori platform on Facebook. And like after a week, we helped more than 10,000 people in Jordan. Like we have a cooperation with more than 45 doctors, I think, and the doctors was just leaving comments on anyone, like any patients have any issue. He was asking on the group, the Doctori group, and the doctors was like answering these questions, and anything was urgent, we asked them to go to the hospital. Anything else, we were helping them all for free. This is for Doctori initiative. I'm also the co-founder and CEO of eSimple 3D, which is a startup that we're manufacturing 3D printers friendly with kids, with high safety and quality. Also, we're giving an online, we were giving an online courses in 3D printing for kids. So we were giving them by free, and you can check us up on Facebook or on our website, eSimple-3D. Thank you for joining us today, and hope you're doing well, guys, and thank you.
Thank you, Muhammad, and sorry for the misunderstanding. Now you can go off to the break. Internet of Things is a new term that leads to a revolution in technology and automation. Internet of Things, IoT, also known as Internet of Everything, IoE, is used to describe a system formed to devices connecting to a network through which they can collect and exchange information using sensors that process this information, then exchange it through network devices to provide useful services to humans. To know more about this field, we have an expert in AI, IoT, machine learning, data science, computer vision, and other technologies. 8 years of experience in communications and sensors. And Muhammad Bilal. Sir Muhammad.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, hello everyone and assalamu alaikum. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
It's same on presentation. Yes, I am Mohammed Bilal, working in Dubai Do Telecom in IoT operations and then smart city operations. I will be presenting about IoT, its operations, and then its role in smart cities, what we are doing in Dubai and like other cities we have deployed like these projects. If anyone has questions, I think we will have a Q&A answer session. Anyone can have question, but this presentation overall will be general introduction about this technology and its role in smart cities. Before IoT, basically, I will a little bit tell about the M2M. Basically, M2M is the basis we have started IoT projects. In M2M, we was having only devices connectivity, and IoT is improvement from M2M. M2M, we was having a device-to-device connectivity, and this was for the specific things. In IoT, now we can collect the data on centralized cloud, and we also can send that data with different protocols. And same in IoT, we can connect different vendors devices. For example, currently we have a very huge IoT project in Dubai. We call that project Hasanto. Basically, what is that project? And in that project, what are the benefits we are using, or how we have moved from M2M to IoT? That was the reason. If you are using M2M technology, that means we only can have a single vendor. For example, if I will take the name, there are some famous name and international names. We call that Romtech. Romtech is basically a Australian vendor. We are using IoT devices from that vendor. If we are going to hire another vendor for those devices, then in M2M we can't can connect both vendors devices on the same system. But if we are using IoT standards, then with the same system we can connect different vendors devices. This is the, I think, first benefit to use the IoT and technology and to improve that one. In our project, what we are going to do, I will explain in details. But initially, IoT basically in smart cities, why we are going to use these technologies and what are the benefits we are getting. First thing, when we think about the devices connectivity, is that to get to gather the data. Basically, all the operations we performs on data, which we call nowadays data science, AI, these all technologies are based on the data. When we analyze the data, basically from IoT devices, we connect devices, we gather the data in a centralized system, maybe in a cloud, or different companies can have a different promises. For example, mostly companies are sending their data on cloud. because in cloud we have little more easy tools to analyze that data. When we collect this data from different type of connectivity of devices, we analyze that data, which we mostly call that it's a data science team part, or you can say if you AI, intelligence, artificial intelligence. All things, all technologies are based on the data. If we have data, then we can perform those operations. In IoT, basically we have different things to connect different technologies. For example, currently mostly companies are using GSM technology for the connectivity purpose. We can have a 3G, 4G connectivity, which normally we use in mobile. But for IoT, we have different connectivity protocols also, because in IoT devices, if we use the normal protocols which we are using for other connectivities purpose, then there is something we call that energy consumption. If any device is consuming so much energy, then we are unable to manage that energy of those devices, and that will have a bad impact on our society also. But to resume and to use low devices, devices which consumes very low level of energy, we also have a different type of protocols. For example, one of the famous IoT protocol is MQTT. We call that MQTT. What is MQTT protocol? Basically, this is the first protocol, first lightweight protocol. We connect our devices with our systems. We gather data from the devices, which devices we connect with the buildings and different type of projects we can have in our smart cities. We connect those devices with that protocol and get the data to our system. And this is the famous protocol we are using in our last projects. And if anyone is interested to read about the about MQTT protocol, I think he or she can get more things. Now, next thing is basically that which are the IoT connectivity technologies. First is GSM. As I talk about that, this is 3G, 4G, same which normally we are using in mobile connectivity also. For example, we will have devices which are connected in the buildings, and those devices will have the port where we can use SIM and that same wireless technology. And the second option also we can have for the connectivity of the devices, broadband network. For example, with broadband network, we also can provide the internet, and then with the internet with secure technology, we also can gather data from those devices. And now, in field, devices are different type. There are different defined. With time, devices are also being matured. For example, before this, we was using simple devices, which devices are sending their data to our system. But now, if anyone know about the edge technology, what is edge technology? Basically, in edge technology, what devices are improved in edge technology? I will give a little example. For example, mostly in different security buildings, we have security cameras. If we will see, security camera is always sending the complete video, who is coming, who is going, and I think if it's working in 24 hours, then 24-hour video we are receiving. Now in edge technology, what we have improved that camera only should send the video when someone passes, means some image, some human, or any interaction is done, then that camera will send that data to our system, so that data we will be able to manage. Otherwise, all the cameras which are sending 24 hours data, then that data, to manage that data, that is also a difficult task. So to improve that technology, to improve devices capability, we have introduced, means we are going to use the edge technology in the device at device end. So device as self is also intelligent, and device know that when need to send data to the next system. So that technology is helping to mature the IoT connectivity devices also. In connectivity, now there are very famous networks also. There are three type of networks. I will little bit explain here. Very famous network, we call that Sigfox, LoRaWAN, and NB-IoT. Basically, Sigfox is a separate network, like a GSM network we have in overall the world we are using. Sigfox basically is a company. They are providing this type of network, and this is in network we connect the devices, and this network basically for devices which are connected with devices in this network are very low energy using devices, and our we can use batteries also, and our batteries which we are using for those devices are also having good time, means more than 2 days we can use same battery also, different type of. And second important network is LoRaWAN. Basically in this also network we also have a one city. For example, if I will give you example about the Dubai, in Dubai we will have a different type of connectivity, different towers. For example, it's basically where companies also don't need to purchase any bandwidth for this network. These are very low level light networks, so their only IoT connectivity is done. And with IoT connectivity we can connect our buildings, we can connect our traffic, and each type of connectivity we do done. Recently I also worked on NB IoT. Basically we call that narrowband IoT. In Dubai we are using, what is this, for example, if I will give the example about properties, in rental properties we are using this type of technologies. NB IoT technologies, what we are using, a little example will be, for example, if anyone is going to get the home on rent, then mostly what is the problem that there are some people which will go with the owner and then they will visit the home, and this is a very time taking task. Now what NB IoT technology, what we have improved, we used NB IoT. For example, there are different lock doors on type of doors. Anyone who is interested to get to take on rent that home, we will give him a code which he she will use on the door, and door automatically will be open. He also can see complete home, and then after that with the same code that door also can be locked. Means to lock the door and to open that door, this technology we are using going to use. These are the famous three technologies. If anyone is interested to work in IoT technology, uh, I think he should be little bit introduced with these three terms: Sigfox, LoRaWAN, and NB IoT. Now, next, I will talk about the smart cities. In smart cities, what we call smart cities. Basically, in smart cities, anything we are going to make and we are trying to create for our people to make their life easier, we are calling those cities smart cities, because population and each and everything problems day by day are increasing, and these technologies are the only solution. That with these technologies we can manage our cities population easily. There are different type of project in a smart city. For example, if you will see, you can see this screen, and these are the projects which we are mostly common in smart cities we are using. But I will here discuss with few projects. For example, first I will discuss here, we have a connected car projects. I think everyone will be having information about the tracking. Already we have in cars, we can track the speed, we can also track the location, each and everything. But now what is connected car solution, which is one of the hot project in all smart cities. In connected car, we have improved basically same tracking system. Now we can know that what is the vehicle speed, where is the jump, where we have to, where driver has to slow that car, and also the surrounding, means how many cars are coming from back side or front side and from other sides. Everything we can manage with sensor. Using sensors means different type of devices which are very smart devices for those cars. If there is any little bit accident or anything else, then I think driver don't need to connect with the ambulance or the concerned department. Automatically call will go to the concerned department, and then department help will come to that person if there is some accident or anything else related to that. And connected car, basically any city, like here in Dubai we have thousands and billions of cars and always following on the roads, and like these technologies are helping so much. For example, if there is any crash or anything else, then automatically call will go to the rescue department, and they will come for the help. This is the one of the famous project in IoT technologies and smart cities. And other currently hot projects which we are using is the smart parking. And this is also a very easy and famous project, because parking is the biggest issue, especially in Dubai. If we want to park the car after 10 p.m., then I think you have to roam around more than 3 to 4 hours only to find your parking. To have a solution for this parking, we also using different type of devices on parking site. And different type of devices, that those what is those parking, basically in this technology, driver will know that this time where exactly I can have a parking, means he will get the alert from the parking side, from the nearest area which there is a parking free, so easily he can go and he can manage that parking. And this is very basically famous, and we are already using this technology, and that's um, uh, we are helping people to manage their, to save their time. And the third project that we are using is basically trash bins to for the baskets. For example, now what is the reason to use this? Basically, normally there is a schedule. For example, on 8 a.m. time, 10 p.m. Any time. People will go and then they will take that baskets, no matter that basket is filled or still it's not filled, and still it and people can throw anything. Now in this technology, what we have done, basically basket box are also smart, are intelligent. For example, when any basket box is filled, then alert that will send alert to the nearest station, and from nearest station vehicle will come and then they will take the basket pass. This is also the very helping things to save the time, and also to use those people which are working on and things, they can have a different type of other tasks also. And also you can so we all people are very familiar that we are using smartphones, smart watches, smartwatch. These are all are the best examples to use the IoT devices. Mostly we are using in the device. For example, what is smartwatch? In smartwatch we are sending continuously. Now in smartwatch we also can send the data to cloud, and from cloud we also can connect our health clinic doctors to take for example, if we have 10 peoples and they have a BP or any issue, different type of health issues, we continuously can monitor with smartwatches their health. And if there is a issue, then we also can send ambulance to the same place where is that person, where some issue has happened with BP. For example, we have 10 people and they are in park and on different locations, and someone with is with emergency, then definitely an alert will go to nearest clinic healthcare, which is government centers, and then from government center ambulance will come and they will treat. They can find with the smartwatch each and everything, that in the morning what was the BP, and in afternoon what was his BP, and now he was currently he was running or he was walking, what was the stage, what he has done. Basically this is the best thing already in Dubai especially we are using these type of things. And secondly, as per slides you can see, in kiosk, in buses also we also can have a especially in buses we also, and customer and the passengers also can have the same type, that in this time where is the current location of the bus, and after how many minutes that bus will reach to the station where any passenger is waiting. How we are capable, we are going to manage these things. Basically this all connectivity is based on these devices. We have connected devices and sensors. We have used sensors in buses and other technologies also, and then those sensors are sending continuously updates to these clouds, and from cloud side we have developed the applications, which application every passenger or everyone other who needs to use, that those are using, and they are getting the complete information, that when bus will come or it's late or how many minutes more it will take. Like these things he can manage from his side and passenger, and so it's here their life is going to be very easy for the local transport also. In one of the best technology, we last time we have worked on a project in Egypt. Basically that is smart meters, because in every country almost we have energy problems, different type of problems every country has. To manage those problems, smart metering, which is a IoT basically project, that is very helpful. In smart meterings, meters can deduct each and everything from your home, that your fan how much is taking energy, and this time for example outside temperature is 30, and if you are going to use fan in your room, it will decrease your temperature to 20, then maybe your fan will be working and that will get the same energy. But if temperature is the same of the room, and to use a fan maybe there is no benefits, then you will receive the alert. If you are going to use the fan, this will take this type of these unit of energy, and these are the benefits and these are the backdraw. This alert on a mobile application and different type of applications a customer or a home user can get from the smart meters. In smart meters, each and energy bill is counted, and even for the billing purpose from WAPDA side or any concerned idara, they don't need to come on the meter side. They directly are receiving the updates that how much bill is, and everything on digital side. I mean, before this, in most countries, paper work is done. Someone will come to the meter and she will note the units, how many units was consumed in a day or week or monthly basis, and they will charge the bill. But in if we are going to use the smart meters, then no need for anything. In smart meter itself is sending alerts both to the home user and also the back office, where everything is being monitored, that this is the total charge of this current month and we are going to use. And in same in smart meters also, we have different type of energy consumptions things in our home. Which thing, for example, if we are going to refrigerator, fan and AC, different things, then that smart meter is also going to tell you that yes, these type of units are you are going to use, and these things you have to use. This is very important. For example, if outside temperature is 15 and maybe you are going to use the AC, then that time the company can charge you extra, and they will send you the alert if you are going to use the AC. With there is no I think benefits. If you have the same temperature as outside, then you will be charged maybe double, triple, or any fine or anything else. So with this way, governments are these technologies are helping to governments and also the home users to save energy and to monitor efficiently. And in smart cities, which one is the third one, fourth one is the basically traffic lights. Like here in Dubai, we have thousands of cars, especially during office hours and school times. We have to manage those cars on signal. Currently, in mostly places, Dubai replaced those signals. That signals in signals, you are using different type of IoT technologies. That signal can understand that from this line of road there is a huge number of traffic, and so it should increase the time. For example, before this signal normal time is 30 seconds, then with those sensors, using the sensor, they will use those sensor after maybe 500 meters or 600 meters, so that sensors can know, yes, from this side of road is huge traffic, so they will increase the longer duration as a green signal. So with this way, capacity of traffic signal can deal easily. From one side, if the traffic is low and the other side is traffic is huge, so many traffic, so many cars are coming, that signal will be more time green from that side, and it will be very easy to manage, and it will also will save time and fuel consumption, and there are many things which we can save. These are the few technologies which mostly are already has been implemented in most of the cities, like in Dubai and different emerging cities. They have been used, and they are day by day going to mature those technologies. Definitely, in IoT, what is the basically big thing we have to manage? The big thing is when we are going to use so many devices for the connectivity, for, like here, to manage the signal traffic, to manage the connected cars and each and everything. These every type of devices are generating huge number of data. To manage that data and to analyze operations on that data, this is the current basically biggest challenge to every government, to save that data and then operations of that data, because there is a huge amount of data every device is going to generate. Next, I will be discussing basically which type of sensors, how we are going to use this device. What are these devices? In devices, almost every device is simple, and we are going to use in every device, in different devices, a sensor technology. And in sensor technology, we also have a different type of sensors. For example, if I will talk about the smart buildings, which mostly we are going to use. In mostly buildings, we have the fire type of alarms. In fire alarms, humidity alarms, we have different type of alarms in a building. and there will be a fire alarm, humidity alarm, temperature alarm, different type of alarms. For all those alarms, how we are going to capture those alarms, each and everything, basically this all is being done from sensor side, and that sensor are sending data to our system, and then we are analyzing, and we are going to, in last project I was discussing Hassan Talk, which we have in UAE. This is the biggest project. What we are doing basically in that project, sensor are sending data from building signs, which sensors are connected. For example, if I will talk about the two type of sensors, the fire alarms and the fault alarms, and almost we have 40 type of alarms in the same building. We can get the data from the different type of sensors. Here I will explain you, give you example as a two alarms. For example, now how we are getting that data. If in any building there is some specific limit for temperature, for example it's 40. If 40 is the temperature, then we will only receive the alert. If sensors if we have the 50 temperature, then we will get as alarms from that sensor to our system. With the connectivity, I explained already how we are getting the alarms from the devices. We are going to use the different type of protocol and connectivity, and this is basically standard of the different type of devices we are going to connect, and from different type of devices we are going to get the data to our system, which we can use, have a different type of systems. And almost every big company like SAP, Ericsson, Cisco, every company I think is providing IoT solution. But main purpose is to connect the hardware devices, and hardware devices, how hardware devices are intelligent, we are going to use the sensors. And in sensors we also have the different type of technologies. From sensors we are getting data to our system. If for example it's a fire alarm, now how we are going to automate these type of alarms. Before this, what is the mostly routine we are using? For example, if there is any fire or any fault fire, then only the building security guard, anyone receive the alarms, and they will call to the nearest rescue office or anyone else who, as per the government, and they have support. And then maybe they will come after 20 minutes or 30 minutes, maybe they will be having any other issues or like these things. Now in our project, what we are going to use, if we received any fire alarms, within 5 seconds that fire alarms will directly go to the nearest building's rescue office. That office police or that office helpers will go to the buildings in just maximum 5 minutes with the complete preparations, how they have to control that fire also. And in future, what is Dubai plan, that they will have a different type of drones. For example, if any buildings they receive the fire alerts within 5 seconds will receive to the drone, and drone will come direct to the buildings with the necessary equipment, and they will have a control on the fire. Because in Dubai especially, we have very huge number of and very big stories buildings, so it's very important. And to save life especially, this is the, I think, very critical part we are doing in this project. Same as I already talked about that as in networks, how we are connecting those devices. I talk about the three type of connectivity, IoT connectivity networks: Sigfox, LoRaWAN, and third one was NB-IoT. For those network, we are going to use the connectivity of each and everything. And especially, for example, as a student, if we are going to experience, and if we try to understand little bit, from the lab work, then in market we have different type of little bit motherboards. Like famous one is the Arduino motherboard, we call that. With that motherboard we can also enable our home different type of devices. For example, now currently if we are going to on the light bulb, then definitely physically we are going to, but different using those Arduino board and having little bit programming skills, we also can make them automatically. And these things already, I think, helpful material is available on internet. But mostly how they are going to use, if anyone is interested, then I think after the presentation or after that, anyone can connect me and I will guide how we can manually take our home to mostly things automatic, like having our electricity, everything. For example, how we have to automate on light bulb, fan, and different type of things. And these are very easy things if we are going to use the IoT in these things. Yes, this is the one example basically we are going to use in LoRaWAN technology and personal area network. That how, for example, if you, I hope you all have been listened that now current in future mostly cars are coming, driverless cars are coming. How those car will work? Basically, this is also IoT technology. Simple, because in those cars we are going to use different type of devices. That devices can know that how speed we have and will be, and everything will be trained basically. And one thing will be devices, we are getting the data from that devices, and then next we are going to use the artificial intelligence from that based on the data. And with the artificial intelligence, that is going to be very easy for the driverless cars. And in mostly cities for the testing purpose, you also can see those cars are being used on YouTube. There are so many videos to see the driverless cars, how those cars are working. Yes, again in IoT, basically cellular network is one of the famous thing which we are using currently. For example, in our last project, we also are using the cellular IoT network, and we are here using the 3G, 4G network. We have SIM in every device, which device is collecting data from sensors and then sending to system. And that device, from security perspective, we are using those devices and these things, because in IoT when we are connecting so many devices, then there are many chances that we are going to break the security. There are many things, so security is being very important in these days. And how many devices we are going to connect, then every company has a concern about this security. To secure all those devices, this is the also biggest challenge currently we are facing, and definitely and this will be resolved also soon. So anyone who is interested in security, cyber security, I think with the huge demand of IoT and huge use of IoT, those type of peoples are also needed in the market, and they will have a great value in future. Yes, and this is the one of the example of the driverless cars, means which type of devices are being used in the driverless cars, and how they are going to use those devices. This is simple example. And name, technically they have mentioned the name of those devices, and you can understand more, I think better if you research on this and on these type of sensors which are connected for these cars, how driverless cars are going to work. This is only basically general purpose. I have informed that what IoT is doing in smart cities and which type of devices we are going to connect. Now, as technical, basically what are our responsibilities, and if as a student, if I want to work as an IoT engineer, then what I need to learn there. And maybe many of you will be having question like this way. Then basically my suggestion will be, if anyone is interested, there are two type of things. One is IoT design solutions, you have to design those solutions. Second will be IoT operations, you have to manage the devices. And the third will be basically to develop these solutions, to IoT develop this solution. To develop those solutions, there are also different type of programming language like Python, and is one of the very famous, and I think best language um, that can help you to develop out IoT solution, as well as to work on the data side. Because from when you're getting data from IoT devices, then definitely you are going to work on that data. And Python is the best language which can support you to work on that data, and that you can analyze as a data engineer for that data. Also, there are different things for the Arduino, and to code, to write a code, and there are different things you can also can learn. From design perspective, definitely you need experience of the IoT operations, and then different type of technologies. For example, you want to be an expert in Sigfox network, in LoRaWAN technology, or anyone else like these technologies, you need to work, and definitely you will be working with that technology. From my side, this was the introduction, and if anyone has the questions or anything else related to this and related how we have to start our future in IoT technologies, I am available for any questions. Thank you. Hello, host. Can you hear me?
Thank you, Engineer Muhammad. Thank you very much for your presentation.
Okay, thank you. And there will be any question answer session?
Is there any questions? Yes, sure, you can talk. But
Yes, Assalamu alaikum, Mr. Muhammad. How are you? Thanks for
Walaikum
this
assalam.
presentation. Just asking, it's more inshallah يعني improvements, more sensors are like that in future, like sensors, the doors, or how we will use it inshallah, sensors in our lives.
Basically depends on those companies which are for example making hardware part, because I'm not from hardware side. My background is from software side, and software and sensors and other connectivity devices are from the hardware side. But in hardware side we also have the different type sensors technology. For example, for the humidity, fire alarms, we have different type of sensors we are going to use. But if we are going to use the connected car technology, then there are a different type of sensors. And to make any device intelligent, we are going to use the sensors, and on sensors type we are going to improve those technologies day by day. Because before, for example, if you talk about previous 10 years, before 10 years, then we will was having a simple type of sensors which are unable to communicate with each other. But in current era, every device also can talk with each other. So these are the sensors which are going to talk with each other. They have improved this technology also. This is the, I think, very broad technology, and they will for the IoT connectivity. There is a very huge demand for the engineers who are going to interest and who are going to work on the sensor technology. And this is the basics of IoT connectivity.
Thanks, Mr. Muhammad.
Anyone else? Anything?
if anyone have any question, you are welcome to ask.
Yes,
There's
but
okay.
yes, yes, there are many protocols to connect. Basically, we also have the co-apps protocol, which is also the light protocol. But currently, MQTT is one of the famous protocol. I have talk about that protocol, and then it's also depends that how many devices in your network you are going to connect. Then that type of protocol will you will use. For example, and if there are billion type of devices, then definitely you have to select the IoT protocol as per your devices, because in our project we only have a few, for example, thousand of devices. So for that, MQTT was a good protocol, and that can help to connect our all the devices. So we have used that protocol. Definitely you have better protocol than MQTT also. But for IoT, there are many specific protocols. For example, before this, mostly we are going to we was using HTTPS protocol. These type of protocols basically are energy consuming. So those protocols are not going to help us for the IoT device connectivity and those things. Anyone else?
Okay, is there anyone else?
I hope everyone is
Okay.
connected on me on LinkedIn, and if anyone want to know that yes, we want to create, we want to work on IoT technologies, and these are of interest. For example, from sensor side, sensor technology, or from software side, or operations, are to manage those devices and connectivity, edge computing, anything related to this. Anyone can connect me on LinkedIn. Maybe a host has been shared already my LinkedIn connection. Then I will be happy to help.
Okay, thank you very much, Engineer Muhammad.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Wong, and I work for Google Cloud. While I could talk all day about cloud security, physical security at a Google data center is still pretty new to me. So today, I'm on a mission to learn all about it by taking an inside look at the systems in place that protect customer data at a typical Google data center. Let's go. Now, I've been told there are 6 layers of security here. Security layer 1 refers to the property boundaries, and that includes signage and fencing. But things really start to get interesting when it comes to layer 2, also known as the secure perimeter. And that includes the main entrance gate, which I am pulling up to right now. Hey, how's it going?
Good morning.
So layer 2 has a lot of security features, ranging from smart fencing to overlapping cameras to 24/7 guard patrols and more. I'm on my way to meet some experts who are going to show me how it all works. Hi, Joe.
Hi, Stephanie. How are you?
So I just passed the main gate and I saw guards and cameras, but what are some things that I didn't see?
Yeah, there's actually a lot of technology and operations going on behind the scene. So from the time that you're on site, we know that you're here and we're able to do correlation analysis of where you've been. We have guards in vehicles. We have some guards on foot. There's also the vehicle crash barrier. That's designed to stop a fully loaded truck from crashing through the front entrance.
Ricky, Tariq, can you tell me more about what's unique about the fencing?
This particular fence is an anti-climb fence. It's also equipped with fiber. The technology tells us if someone's near the fence or touches the fence.
So we use thermal cameras and standard cameras, so we're able to see video footage at night just as clearly as we can during the day.
A hive of activity that is monitoring the data center 24/7, 365 days a year. So it sounds like we've been keeping them very busy today.
Yes, you have. So the doors, the cameras, the badge readers, the iris scan, everything is connected here. This is the brains of the security system. So if there's anything out of the ordinary happening, they have to be able to pick that up.
Interesting fact about layer 5, the data center floor. Less than 1% of Googlers ever get to set foot in here. So right now, I'm feeling kind of special.
This is truly a as-needed only access area, meaning that only the technicians and engineers that have to be there to maintain, upgrade, or repair the equipment are ever allowed there.
And do Googlers or anyone have access to the data?
We have access to the devices, but the data at rest is encrypted, and our customers can issue and keep their own encryption keys. And we do this because protecting the privacy and the security of our users' data is our highest priority.
The mysterious layer 6, where disks are erased and destroyed, and the fewest number of people are allowed to enter. Drives that need to be retired from the data center floor come into this room through a secure two-way locker system, which means that only technicians assigned to this room can pull them from that locker to either erase or destroy them.
All right, welcome to the crusher room.
Wow.
So at this point, we have scanned the hard drive and the software has told us that we need to destroy it.
Can we see it in action?
Back up.
All right, I'll stay back here. That disk is definitely destroyed.
Yes,
it is. If you didn't think these 6 layers of security were enough, Google Cloud actually has 2 security testing programs in place. One hires companies to try to break into data center sites from the outside, and the other tasks Googlers with trying to break security protocols from the inside. And getting out of a data center is arguably even harder than getting in, as everybody has to go through full metal detection each time they leave the data center floor. Google Cloud supports compliance with over 40 global standards, regulations, and certifications. And the commitment to constantly test, optimize, and improve systems makes it a leader in data center security. Now, how do we get out of here?
Today, our age is confronted with ongoing technological revolutions, with cybersecurity and networks becoming increasingly important both in education and labor sectors, and the more technologies advance, the more important the disciplines that relate to it. What is cybersecurity and why do we need it in our lives? To answer these and other questions, I leave you with an engineer who holds a MCS degree in electrical engineering focusing on wireless communication and security. Generally, he enjoys working on and conducting researches in topics related to cybersecurity, privacy, and machine learning. I leave you with Engineer Ala Al-Momen. Mr. Ala, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, hi. Sorry for the delay. I was just preparing.
No problem.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, I was asked to start at 1:30, but if we're ready, I'm also ready to start now if you want. I don't mind.
Yes, if you please.
Okay, then I'm turning on my camera so that people can see me. So yeah, hi again, everyone. And let's share my screen. Hope you can see now my screen. All right, yeah. So I guess we watched actually an interesting video from Google and cybersecurity. The big question is, wow, that was impressive from Google to have all that. But in general, in cybersecurity, where are we heading? I mean, what's next? What's going on? And to keep in mind, the big challenges also in cybersecurity is that we actually, with all what we have seen now in Google and all the layers of security, physical security, like no one almost can enter there. There is still a lot of attacks, a lot of data breaches attack we hear from now and then from Google. Okay, so in this talk, I will mostly address cybersecurity, and I will not be talking a lot about technical stuff, like deep technical, so you won't see a lot of math behind encryption or events or probabilities or so. It would rather be a quick look of what we have until now and where are we heading in general. So I hope this matches your expectation as well. All right, so let's start quickly with who am I, what my background is. Well, my background in general is in electrical engineering and computer science, both of them. I did my master thesis in the intersection between security, physical layer security, between engineering and computer science. And since then I'm working on privacy related aspects, and which actually quite interesting because it affects almost every one of us nowadays. I mean, we're using, no one of us is not using any application out there, and most of these applications, they really harm our privacy, and also they are not secure in the first place. So privacy is even an additional feature you can think of into security, and they even harm privacy, and they don't offer good security practices. Okay, so a little bit more in detail, what you are expecting to see in this presentation. Of course, to answer the question, where are we heading? We need to understand how did we come into where we are right now. I mean, we nowadays we're using Wi-Fi almost in every aspect. We're using Bluetooth, we're using like RFID cards, chips everywhere. We're using our mobile phones all with us. Laptops, we're using a lot of applications that made our lives much easier. Microsoft, Facebook, Google apps, including WhatsApp. Recently, we started using Uber as well, which is as a service is fantastic, but we need to understand that, okay, we came all the way through here, and now what's next? What's the future? The future will also include some car-to-car communication or connected vehicles in general, let's put it like that. We have autonomous driving coming almost into reality. We have the Internet of Things that is already also in reality, and the big picture also of quantum computing. Where are we heading there? So we need to understand all these aspects to start to guide the thinking and the intention of how can we approach a vision of how the future will look like in this case. As a disclaimer for this presentation, this of course does not reflect any view of my work, of my company or my university or my work. And this is simplified so that people from different backgrounds should be able to understand it, hopefully. However, there will be the questions and answers afterwards. So if you want more technical aspect to ask about it, I'll be happy to answer it or discuss it. Maybe I don't know also, maybe you have a different point of view on something. All right, and of course, this presentation does not cover all aspects of cybersecurity, and I'm providing it without guarantees as well. Okay, so let's just take our minds a little bit back to see where we were before. I mean, we were younger, the previous generation, our generation, we were young a little bit, and we did not have Facebook, we did not have Instagram, we did not have actually smartphones. And we were just simply going out to play without this interconnectivity, digital interconnectivity. What we have now is a different world, and that was completely different 20 years ago. I mean, if 20 years ago, if you were talking about something like this, that you would be able to use the internet to check your bank account or to transfer money or so, that would have been maybe crazy, or to make a voice over IP call maybe, as we are doing right now. 20, 30 years ago, that was impossible. So we came already along through long way to arrive at where we are now. But the future is also mysterious. The future is, we don't know where are we heading. And let's take a roll back and see why cybersecurity is important. I mean, we are using it for online banking. We're using it to share our photos, our secret information, sometimes like sensitive informations with our friends and so. And the main issue here is that we're not doing, when you go to a bank and do your whatever operation you want, a transfer or so, you're doing it with the bank agent directly. But when you are doing it with the internet, no, you are doing it with the whole world. So you really need the cybersecurity really need to be put in place to achieve basic requirements you want, which confidentiality, to keep your information confidential, of course, and integrity, so that you don't transfer the money to other people. All right, so I want to start with some technologies that we are using nowadays and slowly build up toward more recent application we are using, and tackle what cybersecurity issues we have in them, either the security or the privacy issues, and also build up toward the thinking, how can we approach the vision of the future? All right, and hopefully we can answer all together the question, where are we heading by the end of the presentation? Okay, so Wi-Fi, I guess we're all using Wi-Fi. Probably most of us right now is actually connected to Wi-Fi. I am connected to my Wi-Fi here at home. And normally at home, we have what's called WPA2 security at home. So home networks, they have WPA2 security. And this is different from public Wi-Fi networks. So when you go to Starbucks, for example, or when you go to any open internet in the street or in any other cafe, there is no security at all. And what we have at home, the standard nowadays to have almost at each, you have to check maybe your Wi-Fi setting, you will see WPA, WPA2, the standard is that. And this is mainly a protocol between your client, the device you have, your laptop or your phone, and the Wi-Fi access point. This is like a protocol to exchange some secrets to make sure that no additional person can log into this network, and no additional person, third person, can hear the communication between your device and the Wi-Fi access point. The problem there, it is not very secure. I mean, even what we have nowadays at home is not very secure, not at all. And it's very simple to crack it, actually, to crack the password, to crack it. So the whole internet, this is not all risky for the whole internet because we are using HTTPS, and HTTPS is an end-to-end encryption. So they tell you if you are opening, if you are talking with Google, with any Google server, your device and Google has 2 keys and no one else can hear about it. So this is like an additional layer of security other than WPA2. But this is of course not enough. I mean, sometimes you talk with HTTP websites, HTTPS already have some weaknesses anyway, so WPA2 is not ready. What is happening right now is the WPA3, and this is already in standardization, in discussion and standardization. There is a lot of research papers on that, already started a few years ago on WPA2 as a new protocol, how your phone can communicate with the access point to ensure the security of communication in general. What I mentioned there is that even the WPA2, it has some weaknesses, and the people are already, there are also some papers discussing how can we even mitigate these, these weaknesses. And also the other big challenge here is, how do we deploy it? I mean, we already have the access points at home. We already have them widespread all over the world. So almost as I told you, the whole world now is using devices with WPA2. Can we move to WPA3 without the need to purchase a new hardware? Or if me at home, I want to have WPA3 because it's more secure, do I have to go and buy a new hardware now? So this is always a big challenge when you want to have either a security patch or when you want to introduce a new product, software product. Will there be a need to change the hardware, or will the hardware be already compatible with the new protocol? Yeah, but in Wi-Fi, where we are heading, it's more or less clear now. We have the WPA3 standardization, and a lot of people, it's almost coming into the standards and into the application already. Yeah. Moving on, we have Bluetooth, and I guess also many of us, even right now, probably you're hearing me through your Bluetooth speaker, or you connect always your device to another Bluetooth device and so on. Among others, we have the Bluetooth speaker, we have the Bluetooth keyboard. I'm also actually having it right here. So even the keyboard is, you type in Bluetooth, and you have the smartwatch also, which has a lot of sensitive information. Yeah, some of these devices, if you can think technically about them, they don't have any input, so there is no input, there is no output. And some of them, they have input capabilities without output capabilities. And some of them, like the watch, they have actually input and output capabilities. Yeah, from a standardization perspective, I mean, first of all, we why do we need privacy? Why do we need security and privacy, cybersecurity in this regard here? I mean, sometimes we talk sensitive information on the phone, and when we are talking it via a Bluetooth headset, then the connection to your device, I mean, the headset to the device, there is a connection, and this can go. I mean, when what the other person is telling you, another person sitting next to you can't hear it. But if the Bluetooth is insecure, there is a probability that they will hear it. Similar goes to the keyboard. So sometimes you're typing your password on the keyboard, and if we don't ensure the security between the confidentiality and the integrity between the device, between the keyboard and the laptop, for example, then some other person may be able to hear this communication, to eavesdrop on this communication, and so on. And the whole challenge here is also we can't throw heavy cryptography operations in these devices because they don't have strong processing power capabilities. There is no, I mean, if you want to throw heavy cryptographic operations into your headset, which is a Bluetooth headset, then the battery will be empty in like 15 minutes. And this is not usable. I mean, you have the other functionality, the functionality purpose that you need it, you need usability of the device. I mean, if you have to recharge it every 15 minutes or every 30 minutes, that is not usable, and that's not a good usability feature, and so on. And similar goes actually to the watches. Now, the watches nowadays, despite that there is actually a lot of processing power capabilities compared to keyboards or compared to headset, it's still not enough. So that's also one of the big challenges, that how do we introduce devices like these, personal devices like these, ensuring strong security features. I mean, thankfully there is the Bluetooth, there's the Bluetooth standard, the protocol security, Bluetooth security protocol, and it's in place. So we're not living in the wild. And when we are talking with Bluetooth devices, there is some security in place, but not always. For some devices, no input, no output devices, this actually simply works with just, it's called just work. So you don't even to type any password or anything, and it just works. So, and sometimes they don't have encryption techniques. Up to now in the standard, what we have is, what I'm talking here about actually is the Bluetooth Smart. Maybe some of you already heard about it, of course. The Bluetooth Smart or Bluetooth Low Energy. And what we have up to nowadays is version 4.2. Version 4.2 is actually secure. It uses a new security features. Before that, Bluetooth 4 and before, it's rather insecure. And what we are heading about is Bluetooth Smart version 5. And this is actually already in place. So the new MacBook, the 2019 or 2020, I believe, they have the Bluetooth version 5, the Smart version 5. So there is already some developments there. People thankfully understand the weaknesses in these protocols and try to come up with the new protocols that remedy these weaknesses. All right. So credit cards. We are using credit cards almost everywhere nowadays. And if there is an attacker that is able to hear what we are communicating, then you can imagine what can go wrong in this situation. And what we are using, even people, what they are using credit cards nowadays even is sometimes they need to track their children in a Disneyland, for example. This is an example of a Disneyland card, and people actually like when they go to Disneyland, they purchase these cards for their children so that they can the parents can sit somewhere and the children they can go to play, and the parents can track their children. And you can imagine if security is not in place here, what can go wrong as well. I mean, maybe they will take the children also. An attacker, I mean, that can eavesdrop on the communication or alter the communication. Yeah. Moving on to more mobile application. I guess we're all nowadays we're using mobile applications. almost everywhere. And when we talk about security and mobile applications, we can't talk about malware. We can't forget talking about malware. So malwares are already in place, and if you are using any applications app store other than the official app stores, it's full of malwares. So the application, what you see, an application that is paid application on an official app store, and unpaid in an unofficial app store, that application is a malware. The unpaid one is a malware. So it takes a similar features of the paid one, but it is a malware. At the end, they need something. They need either your data or your money. And that's the trick here. And mobile applications, we know mobile applications, actually, they are accessing a lot of sensors on our devices. Like Google Maps, they need to access the location, sometimes for a legitimate person, for a legitimate purpose. So Google Maps cannot, it has to access the location to work. But for other applications, sometimes it's unnecessary to access all these information. Like there were some games that need to access your location and your microphone, games like I'm talking about small mobile app games that they really don't need to access the location or the microphone or anything. And at the end, it all goes to the Russian market maybe, or to the Chinese market. And at the end, maybe Google or Facebook will buy these data from these small companies or small markets and perform the machine learning on them and so on. And what is interesting to look at when we talk about mobile applications is that despite its peer-to-peer communication, in fact, what you are doing when you are using a mobile app, to make it more intuitive, let's say, let's talk about WhatsApp. What you are doing actually when you are using WhatsApp, you're talking at the beginning to WhatsApp servers, which Facebook bought WhatsApp. So Facebook servers, you're talking to Facebook servers or WhatsApp servers, and WhatsApp servers talking to your friend. And here's the trick, that WhatsApp servers, they won't delete the data, and you already agreed on that anyway. They won't delete the data, and they can access also everything on your phone. So it's not only the communication. Sometimes they will access the camera, your location, the SMSs you get, the storage, all the pictures you have on your phone. And that's where the trick when you are using such kind of applications. Yeah. We are using a lot nowadays also voice over IP. This was not envisioned 20, 30 years ago, or it wasn't as easy as nowadays. Especially you can imagine after the COVID-19 situation, that almost the whole world, the important meetings of big companies in the world, they moved to the online systems, to voice over IP systems. And you can realize, why do we need the security in here as well? Sometimes confidential information has been transferred over the internet. So having the cybersecurity in here is something very critical in general, for both the security of the company itself and the privacy of the people. When we are talking right now, we don't want Zoom, the servers in Zoom in the Silicon Valley, we don't want them to know what we are talking, maybe. Yeah. So and the whole point when we are moving toward all these, you have to keep the vision in mind that, okay, 20 years ago or 30 years ago, this was not envisioned. And because of the increased processing capabilities and bandwidth capabilities and so on, we're able to use these technology nowadays. Okay, what's happening in the next 30 years then? So that's hopefully will guide our thinking toward what will happen later on. Yeah. And also the vision of social media. I remember in 2005, this social media, the whole vision of social media was not there. In 2005, 2004, the whole idea of social media wasn't as we know it nowadays. It feels like when you think back to that time, that the lifestyle of us already has changed. Now we can't do anything without social media. You have to talk to your friends on social media. You have to follow what events are there on social media. Marketing is happening on social media. So our whole lifestyle has changed. And from a security perspective, this security, I mean, to have a security in place for social media and privacy is something very crucial. So nowadays, we are using social media without privacy. In the future, will we use social media with privacy or not? And that's the big question. We will come into this in a few minutes as well to elaborate on this more. So what do we need to achieve technologies like this or ideas like this, but with cybersecurity features in the future? Because as they are right now, social media, I mean, we hear all the time that Facebook has been punished by, I don't know, $10 million because of a data breach or something. So right now, these technologies, these services as they are, there is no strong cybersecurity features or guarantees to have them. The question in the future, will we have these technologies with cybersecurity features or not? Or we will have something completely different maybe. Yeah, there is always this nice example I always like to give. Maybe some of you have already seen some of my presentations, but about a social media website, Twitter, of course, and there's another application, another website that is called Please Rob Me. And what it does actually is that it follows all the Twitter and the check-ins, the announcement that when people are not at home, and because most of the people, they already, when they leave, maybe they check in that we are going to another place and where they are checking it home. So what this website does is it goes and it finds all these tweets and all these check-ins and suggests for you, if you want to go rob any house, that this house is free, for example, or the people are not there. So you can see now how the vision is, how our lifestyle is being different now. Yeah. And we also started using Google Maps. Back in the days, not so long ago, we started relying more and more on Google Maps. So Google Maps, as it appears for you, it's something like this. In the backend, it will be something like this. So, and all your history, whenever you have been at some place, Google knows it. Probably you don't even remember that you were at that place, but Google still knows it. So what is next, Google? I mean, we will come a little bit into machine learning, into artificial intelligence, and the idea here would be, can they even predict where you will be at some point in time or not? We also use translations nowadays. I mean, we translate almost, if another language, if we don't talk it, you need to translate something. Sometimes it's critical. Sometimes the information you are translating is also very important. And you're simply giving it to Google and telling Google, hey, Google, here's my information, please take it. Now, the problem, what I'm linking to before, what I've said, is that we have a lot of data breaches every now and then. So at one point of time, your data is breached. So Google is storing actually even the text that you're translating. And despite all what we saw in the video before the talk, what we saw in the video, despite all these security layers that Google adds, we hear a lot about data breaches. So imagine you are using Google services like Google Maps or translation and so on. And Google stores all this data. And at some point it will be breached. Imagine the consequences of that, not only for you, but for the whole, maybe, I don't know, depends on how many records they were breached or not. So what else can we use from Google service? We use Google Forms also. We fill all the time forms from Google. We fill doodle forms to see whether we can arrange a meeting or something, or a birthday surprise party or so. We're using Microsoft also. Microsoft Office 365, which runs all in the cloud, Microsoft Office 365. So we are giving our documents to Microsoft and telling Microsoft, hey, Microsoft, these are our documents, our important, very sensitive documents sometimes, including presentations, including Word documents or Excel files for companies maybe, And so we're giving it to Microsoft, and Microsoft simply knows everything here. And we are using a Dropbox as well. I mean, if somebody wants to share the pictures from last trip with their friends, they will use Dropbox, and Dropbox, they will simply upload all the pictures to Dropbox, and the Dropbox also will know simply everything. Will know the people in the picture, will know where they were, and so on. All right. And lately, we started using Uber. And Uber, I'm gonna stop here a little bit to understand how Uber works in general, and understand what issues do we have in such a service, and the future of such services, how it will be. Okay, so most of us probably already know how Uber works. So in Uber, you have to register. So you have to give Uber your name, your ID, and probably your payment information, your bank account information as well. And you will give Uber when you want to request a taxi or a ride. You will give Uber your pickup location and your drop-off location. Now, the sensitivity comes from that Uber knows who you are, knows your identity, and knows where your location at. Now, for ordinary people, most of the time you tell me, okay, I don't care if Uber knows my location, where I am right now. But think about it twice. For some time, you might have been at some place where you simply don't want to tell anyone, right? Like I was someday at work, you're at work, but somehow you manage to be outside of work, or you're going on a business trip, or somehow you slip, or you simply just don't want to disclose your information, your location information, to anyone. But when you are using such a service, you're already doing that. And here where it comes the privacy issue and the cybersecurity issue, giving that all these platforms, what we discussed now, is not 100% secure. And I'm not saying that because it's not 100% secure because they don't want to make it secure. No, because achieving security and privacy, cybersecurity as a whole, in a real world case like this, is something very, very, very challenging. So sometimes it's even impossible to achieve 100% security. You simply just can't do it. Okay. And there was actually some news about Uber, particularly about some employees in Uber that used to use the platform to stalk celebrities. And so they were following celebrities where they were ordering Ubers. How much celebrity did they pay for their Uber? How much did they tip for their Uber, and so on. And of course, if they do it for celebrities, they would be able to do it for anyone. Yeah. Now, the big question what I want to mention now is, okay, all these what we've been discussing up to now until we arrived to Uber example, we kind of saw the development over the years of what happened starting from when we were young, when we started to use basic internet services, up to nowadays when we are using Uber. Now the question is, okay, what is next? And most of us have heard of autonomous vehicles. I'm not sure if some of you guys have seen one, but at least we've heard of them. And the point is that when we are discussing about future, and so it is definitely a future thing, but it's a very close future thing. I mean, they are already in place, autonomous vehicles. They are already in production. And for this, it's not a whole big future into the front, and not a whole big step into the future. No, it's almost, we're almost there. Despite there are some problems in the functionality and so on, but we're almost there with autonomous vehicles. And for autonomous vehicles, we all know it's fully equipped with sensors everywhere, and it can realizes humans when they are walking in the street, what signs in the streets are, and the lane, of course, in the street, they adjust the speed and so on, maneuvers also, and many other features autonomous vehicle has. Okay, now the question here is, what does this affect, for example, an example like Uber? It's a direct question, it's a direct answer that, okay, in the future, what we are going to see actually is that we're going to see Uber, but without a driver. So you will be able to order an Uber I'm just saying Uber as an example of any other service, taxi service, online taxi service, but you will be able to order Uber or any other taxi service without a driver inside the car. And this has a whole bunch of implications from a technical perspective. It's not only the functionality of the car is different. No, we're talking about the whole application, the whole system, and the whole architecture is different now. Because the company owns the vehicle, the whole architecture is different. And simply the question is, how would you get inside the vehicle? I mean, normally when we know when you use Uber now, the driver will come to you and he will ask you, are you X? Yes, I am X. Okay, get in, I'm your Uber. Nice. When you don't have when you don't have a driver in the car, what is gonna happen? Imagine the case when in the ride sharing scenario, when you are going to order a car, but there is no other person, but there are some other people with you in the car that you don't know also, and there is no driver. What would happen? I mean, it can range from a smooth, normal ride to a violent ride to maybe some criminal ride in this case, because you're getting in a car with people you don't know. So the whole requirements are different, and the whole system architecture is different in this case. And probably you're imagining that, oh, this something would happen maybe very late in the days, maybe in 20 years, maybe this will happen or so. But let me share with you some news articles that I actually find always in the internet, that Uber's self-driving cars will pick up passengers within 18 months, and that was in 2019. Probably now, because of the COVID-19, there are of course some delays in that, but this means that we're almost there. So actually Uber will be able to pick customers without in vehicles without a driver, in a self-driving vehicle. And this should happen rather soon. It's not like some long in the future. No, it's rather very soon. In Japan, Nissan and Dina, these are Nissan, of course, almost everyone knows Nissan. Dina is the other company in Japanese company. And they already actually started their tests, their field tests, commercial field tests for autonomous taxi service. And it's called Easy Ride. You can even Google it and check their website. And it's already in place, Easy Ride. So in Japan, they already started doing that. And in Japan, it was because I worked also with a Japanese company in these aspects as well. They wanted to do that before the Olympiad, before next year's Olympiad. And I'm not sure whether with the COVID-19 situation, if it's still, if it's gonna happen or not, the Olympiad anyway, but it's in there. And there is the other company in Texas, Erlangen Drive.ai, and it already started the self-driving taxi service, but for not for commercial people, not for normal people, but probably for transportation of goods and so on. But anyway, we are already there with the autonomous taxi services, so we will see them hopefully soon. Now, the whole problem, as we mentioned, it brings a lot of new requirements, a lot of new features as an application. We want to check what security requirements does this application have, or what privacy requirements does this application have. And no one from the previous examples I mentioned, rather Uber, Nissan, Dina, or Drive AI, or many other companies, no one has discussed from the industry, no one has discussed what privacy requirement or security requirements this new whole architecture needs. I was one of the people who worked particularly in this problem. I proposed the new whole architecture and protocol for a self-driving cab. I call it iRide. And in this scenario, and it's fully privacy friendly. So you actually can get into the vehicle, and I mean, you can order a vehicle, the vehicle can arrive to you, and you get into the vehicle. It drives you to the point of drop off where it wants to drop you off. You get off, they deduct from you the money. All that's happening anonymously without knowing even who was in the car. Of course, assuming that they don't have a camera in the car, because if they have a camera in the car, then they identify you anyway. But all this happens without identifying who you are and without knowing the exact location that you were dropped off anyway. And without even knowing the payment source, the bank source that you paid, because there's something called anonymous e-cash that you can actually pay with. It's like a token you can pay with without knowing, without being able to identify who you are. It's simple. If it sounds like magic to you, it's simple as actually the cash payment. So if you go to a restaurant or so and pay by cash, can they identify you from your payment by cash? No. But if you go to the internet and pay by PayPal or by your credit card, they would be able to identify you because you have the identification number on the card or the PayPal account. So this is just a way how to think of the anonymous e-cash system. How it works is a little bit complicated with the math. I won't be able to describe it here. The other nice challenge also is how do you get into the vehicle? I mean, there are two options here. It's either you provide a fingerprint reader in the vehicle, of course. So when the vehicle arrives to you, would be able to use your fingerprint to get inside the vehicle. But this is of course not privacy friendly because you would be able, you would give your fingerprint data to Uber or to the company. The other way would be cryptographically through some hash functions, generate a random hash function from your device and go generate a random hash it and then go commit it. It's called commitment scheme, and enter the vehicle with this hash function that you created. It's simply as a random, let's call it like that. So that's one of the schemes that I worked on particularly. And another big thing also when we are moving toward the future now, so we talked about how autonomous driving will affect Uber, for instance, but there are some other technology more on a bigger space. Now we're talking about nowadays about connected vehicles. And the idea here is that vehicle would talk to another vehicle on the road, vehicle would be able to talk to other person in the world, would be able to talk to the cloud and to the backend on the road, or to other infrastructure in general. So, and this is also something really in research and industry, also in automotive industry. This has been like the driven, in addition to autonomous driving, of course, this has been the drive and the key of the research and introducing the standards for all these in the last 10 years, let's say. And we, until now, we don't have car-to-X communication, but the new Golf, the new Volkswagen Golf 2020, they actually have the car-to-X communication embedded in the vehicle, a standard in the vehicle. And the idea, why do we need actually connected vehicles? So assume that you're moving on a highway, like the picture we see here. And after that, by almost like 500 meters, there was an accident. Now, what possibilities that you will know that there is an accident? Sometimes it's too late to detect there is an accident. Maybe there is an exit close by that you can take without being stuck in a traffic here for 2 hours. The problem here, sensors only is hard to recognize that there was an accident because it's somewhere like 1 kilometer away. But assuming that vehicles can actually talk to each other, can send information, communicate with each other, then the vehicles, or at least if a vehicle detects, with the sensor detects that there is an accident, it can communicate with the vehicles after it that, hey, there is an accident, and so on, after and after and after, until it receives to you, and your vehicle will warn you that, hey, there is an accident 1 kilometer away. Take the next exit because you arrive it, and this will happen almost instantly. And with this, you don't need 5G communication to communicate with like Google Maps to see, okay, there is an accident or no. This is the vehicle itself is warning you. It is capable of having communication technology to communicate with other vehicles and other road users to warn you that there is a traffic or there is an accident. And this is only one example of why do we need such connected vehicle? Why do we need such connectivity? for the vehicles. Okay. When this was for the connected vehicle. So we talked about the autonomous driving, maybe some new applications, but it also brings new security features, security challenges and privacy challenges. And the other big picture, when we are talking about autonomous driving and connected vehicles as well, we're talking about bigger intelligent transport system. And in this, vehicles don't only communicate with each other, but rather communicate with wider scope of objects that is on the road. And this could include also electric vehicles of energy storage stations, and it could include there are actually few standards already, and it also could include smart power grids also. And it may have some effects on the communication as well. And there are few standards already, IEEE standards in place for all these. There's the in-vehicle communication, the out-vehicle communication. So we're talking about a bigger picture of intelligent transport system. So the whole transport system becomes more intelligent, more smart. And this naturally brings us also to the notion of a smart city. So we're not only talking about connecting vehicles, we're not talking about connecting vehicles with each other or with the roadside unit, no. We're now talking that, oh, it's now everything is connected together. So your internet at home, your Wi-Fi, the Starbucks Wi-Fi, what we talked about, any cloud service, any parking space service. So everything becomes more connected to each other in a notion of what we know now as a smart city. So you will be able to go, instead of being looking for a parking lot for like 20 minutes or so, you would be able to use some service that tells you instantly that, okay, there is a parking lot here, there are 2 parking lots there. And this is not only a service from one company or from one garage maybe, or one parking space. No, this is a service that's already will be available because of the development we have up to now. Yeah, furthermore, we talked about this connectivity. I mean, this whole connectivity, we talked about the outer connectivity. When we talk about smart city, that the things outside in the city, they are connected all with each other. But when we are talking about a bigger also Internet of Things, we're talking about not only the city that is outside, but if, the stuff that are, the objects that are outside that are connected together only. No, the objects inside at your home is actually, everything is connected together. So your TV now is connected to the internet. Your fridge is connected to the internet. Your closet is connected to the internet. Your carpet is connected to the internet. Your couch is connecting to the internet. Your clothes are connected to the internet. So we're talking about a whole bunch of things that are connected to the internet. And this is the Internet of Things. And just to give you an example, this is already a reality. You probably heard that Bosch already has the smart fridge, where you can actually check on your phone whether you have what exactly do you have in your fridge. So if you're outside before coming home, to check if you need to buy something particular, instead of going home to check if you have it, if no one is at home, you can maybe check on your phone directly to see what is actually in your fridge. So this is just as an example of where are we heading with all these technologies. And as we mentioned, like even the carpet would be connected to the internet, the couch would be connected to the internet. So you'd be able maybe to check if someone is sitting in the couch, or what pressure on the couch might be, or so. Okay, so all this also is topped, let's say, with the idea of quantum computing. So over the years, we've been moving toward talking about cloud computing, fog computing, edge computing, that we're like, let's say the idea was like to have more powerful processing and so on. But now we're moving to a whole new world with the quantum computing. And what does this bring to us? And there is a lot of debate on quantum computing and the effect to cybersecurity, that it has two effects. It's either would enhance security in general because it will enhance security in general because you will be able to start producing encryption keys, very random encryption keys that people it would be very hard for people for others, third parties or eavesdroppers to know these encryption keys and decrypt the communication in a notion of what they call unbreakable encryption. But from the other side as well, from the darker side, from an attacker's perspective or an hacker perspective, it would be then easier because they have way much processing capabilities, much more processing capabilities with the quantum computing. It would be also easier for them to know what keys are encrypted or to try what possible keys to decrypt a specific encrypted text maybe. So there's like two words in here. I've attended the top security conference for that, and there was a huge debate on the quantum computing and the effect on cybersecurity. Yeah, there is no decision in this case. The future is exciting. It's mysterious, but it's exciting, and we want to know what's going to happen. Yeah. To top all that, what we've talked about, we don't have to forget that there are security cameras also placed all over the place now with tracking capabilities. So imagine all the huge capabilities, the connectivities we talked about, and top that with some security cameras you have. Will we have, the question is now, after we talked about all these potential future aspects that we will have, including quantum computing, will we have bank account privacy? Will we be able to use online banking without fear of data breach or so? Now, we already have this tracking and profiling capabilities. What will happen additionally with all that, with the quantum computing, with the connectivity we talked about? Machine learning already can predict a lot of things. I mean, for instance, if we take an example, machine learning and artificial intelligence can tell you when a person is angry or when a person is happy or sad. What will happen later, even with machine learning, with the huge capabilities of processing, with the quantum computing, with the connectivity, when everything is connected together, what will be possible there? Will it be able to predict even when will you be angry or when will you be happy? Maybe it can predict that at some point you will be angry, so you may want to avoid that already. And so it takes, like we talk now, mostly we communicate a lot with our phones, with our speakers. They call it the smart way, let's call it that. You talk to them, they transfer your voice to the back end, and they process what you want. What is going to happen next? So these are all like the big questions that is not easy to answer. Your shopping behavior now on Amazon, they're already able to predict what you are going to shop. Will the quantum computing and will the all other connectivity aspects we talked about, will it has a positive impact in that? Meaning that they will start predicting what will you be able to shop more accurately only, or will they have more security features or privacy features? Because as we discussed at the beginning, that the problem with the small devices that we don't have strong capabilities, but now maybe with the quantum computing or with any additional the connectivity or the increasing processing capabilities, will we be able to add fancy security and privacy features into these devices? Will we be able to shop without Amazon knowing who we are, without Amazon knowing, or in an obfuscated fashion, let's say the processing will happen in an obfuscated fashion or not? All this is a question of time to know it. And of course, machine learning as well bring additional challenges by itself, because nowadays data is money anyway, and companies thrive to get additional data in all cases. So we have whole bunch of new challenges, and the question is, okay, we kind of have not a clear view, but we may have a view of how the future may look like. but what else might be there? We already started to see regulations and new rules and regulations to privacy. In Europe, we have the GDPR. In California, they have the Consumer Privacy Act. The question is, will we have new and additional regulations concerning the future application, what we will have, like for the autonomous driving, and so on. There's already additional rights to privacy regulations. In Washington, there is one. In New York, there's two now. They didn't adopt them yet, but they are still under discussion. Okay, in a more technical level, maybe we will see new encryption techniques. So the normal encryption, what we are using nowadays, we won't be using. Probably the normal internet, what we are using nowadays with HTTPS, probably we'll see something completely different with the quantum computing, or this may happen in 10 years maybe. We would start seeing some new data analysis techniques, like for example, homomorphic encryption techniques or secure multi-party techniques, because these are computationally expensive and we don't use them nowadays because they are very computationally expensive. In fact, Google you can perform a search in a searchable encryption method without Google knowing what you are searching for even. The problem of that, if you do it this way, it would probably take you a month to get the result back. So if you Google whatever, like how Zoom works or so, or just you Google the website of Zoom, but on Google, it will take you a month to get the result back because it's huge, computationally expensive. Now, with the quantum computing, with the development of hardware and capabilities, will we be able to use additional data analysis, additional searchable encryption techniques, and so on? These are all big questions to be answered in the future. We already started to see actually the people already start to desire to use some applications with more privacy features. We started using Signal instead of WhatsApp to text. We started using DuckDuckGo, which is more secure than Google search. It's a search engine. And many people start to use Tor browser for anonymity as well. Others use Nextcloud instead of Dropbox because it's more secure and it's encrypted by default. And there's also the CryptPad instead of Microsoft Office 365. It's different functionality, but at least if you want to share some ideas with your friends on a pad note, CryptPad, people a lot are using CryptPad nowadays. So we're already naturally moving toward more security and privacy feature. Now the question is, in the future, will we be able to continue this movement? There will be additional applications that with the use of quantum computing, with the use of additional processing capabilities. And so will we be able to use or to see new applications that offer security and privacy features or not? The takeaways from all what I've talked, which I hope it wasn't boring, we saw new regulations. We are seeing new regulations in general. Will we see new regulations in the future? Of course, we will see new regulations in the future that regulate the use of quantum computing, that regulate the use of additional applications that we will have. In this regard, we will have new applications appearing that I'm not referring to mobile applications, but new services that we will see. We talked about the connectivity between cars, between Internet of Things, and it will become more and more widespread. We will simply have a new lifestyle. I mean, again, if you take our lifestyle 20 years ago, it's completely different from the lifestyle we are living now. So in 20 years from now, we will definitely have a new lifestyle. How it will look like, this is the big question. This is what I'm not sure if we can answer or not. How can we predict this? And the most interesting aspect from a cybersecurity perspective is all these new applications, new services, the new lifestyle, all these, they bring new and big, huge challenges that we need to answer in security and in the privacy field. Yeah, so hopefully these are my takeaways. Going back to the title of my presentation, cybersecurity, where are we heading? I'm not sure whether there will be one answer for that, or we shall maybe divide the aspects of cybersecurity and see where each aspect is heading actually, and then maybe if we can combine them together. But answering this question is a non-trivial task actually, and I'm not sure at the end actually if anyone would be able to answer it or not. It would be nice to hear your views actually on that. So that was my presentation. Thank you a lot for your listening, and I would be happy to hear your questions and discuss them together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Engineer Ala. If anyone have any question, be our guest to ask.
Hello, Mr. Ala.
Yeah, hi.
I would ask about when will the quantum computing break the blockchain security?
When or will it?
When we can see it breaks the blockchain?
Probably when we see, yeah, that's a good question. I'm not sure if I'm able to answer it or not. I'm not sure if anyone would be able to answer it or not. I assume, and again, because yeah, it's the debate again. I have to refer to the debate again. I've been in a lot of discussions with a lot of people, experts in the field. It's a debate. So from your perspective, you would think as an attacker would be capable of attacking the blockchain security with the quantum computing features. Yeah. But why you don't think it of the other way, that the blockchain security anyway will be enhanced much more, that the attacker won't be capable of encrypting it because of the use of the blockchain, because of the use of the quantum computing in the encryption or in the security features, what we are having exactly. So when, I'm not sure if it will happen first of all, and I really can't answer when, if it will happen anyway. So the question would rather be from my side actually is, will it happen or will it not? And this is not only regarding the blockchain, but regarding any other technology we are using nowadays that has particular security features. And these security features, obviously they will be enhanced with the quantum computing. On the other hand, the attackers and the hackers, the black world, will be also enhanced with the quantum computing. So which party will win? That's what I can't answer, to be honest.
Do you mean, is it possible, can we say to keep working in parallel?
People are already working in parallel in that. People are already working in parallel in that. Yeah, people are already working in parallel in that. Yeah, the problem, the development in both sides. So from my feeling, I guess, which is a gut feeling, security features will be enhanced more with the quantum computing, but I see also the risk that there is still a possibility of sophisticated attacks using quantum computing. And quantum computing, I mean, we don't want to focus on quantum computing only, because these are not the only, this is the not only aspect that we have to look at when we talk about the future of what's going to happen.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else who want to ask?
You can ask also, by the way, if you have any other idea other than what I've talked in the presentation, or what maybe I did not talk about. So if you have any other idea, I would also be happy to hear it.
Okay, I think there is no other questions. So thank you very much, Mr. Ala.
Yeah, thank you as well. Thanks everyone for hearing, and yeah, have a nice day, everyone.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
today's session, you will hear some of our thoughts for the role of computer field in smart cities. Citywide urban infrastructure are increasingly reliant on network technology to improve and expand their services. As a side effect of this digitalization, large amounts of data, digital footprints, can be sensed and analyzed to uncover patterns of human urban behavior and to augment the city experience of its citizens. In my talk, from a computer field perspective, there are challenges in a variety of domains, including data visualization, storage, security, privacy, and machine learning. Some of the applications of smart cities include traffic forecasting. The identification of areas with high level of people is of paramount importance. For example, urban and transport planners, or emergency relief and public health officials. Urban planners can use this information to improve the public transport system by identifying dense areas that are not well covered by the current infrastructure and determine at which specific times the service is more needed. In addition, public health officials can use the information to identify the geographical areas in which an epidemic can spread faster.
I see the IoT or the Internet of Things will be the standard of living cities because the smart cities are using the IoT to improve the quality of life in their cities. A system of sensors, networks, and applications collect useful data like traffic congestion, energy use, and CO2 levels. That will make cities smart cities.
Robotics are evolving really fast. In the future, robots will take place in many applications, such as robots in public security, robotics in education, robots as a co-workers, healthcare robots, agriculture robots, robotics for entertainment, self-driving car robots, industrial robots, and much more.
Implementation of computer vision for smart cities relies on cameras and sensors embedded on roadways to monitor pedestrians, traffic density, and traffic flow. The use of computer vision results in easier traffic management. It helps in maintaining steady flow of traffic, which results in fewer congestion. Another area in which computer vision can be used for smart cities is making use of ambient light detectors in streets. These lights can switch on and off depending on the natural lights to save electricity. Thank you for listening and peace out.
IoT systems can control and monitor the smart home devices such as AC units, washing machines, and others. This will give the user information about the energy consumption in these units, as well as the condition and possible maintenance needs in advance. As smart homes become more and more connected, the residents are helping in realizing the IoT paradigm by enabling more and more devices to the internet.
Okay, thank you very much for listening. This is the meeting today ending, and just that's it. Thank you.